I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is my daily vlog for the 3rd of March, 2022. It's Thursday, and welcome to the show being filmed in Parque Galicia, Laborio, León, Nicaragua. Today, yes, the power went out again today. Got up, started work, was doing really well, was feeling great about the day. I was all prepared to get a lot of stuff done and was all excited because I did a good walk yesterday, did the Subtiava walk, really enjoyed doing that. Thought I got some great footage, which I think I did. I think it's gonna be a good one. I've already seen a lot of it, and I'm hoping that you guys really like that episode. I think it turned out, I have a couple that I really like recently, so I'm feeling good about that one. I worked for about 2 hours this morning, 3 hours maybe, and then suddenly the power went out. Now this time we said, the power's been out a lot this week, it's probably not coming back right away. We checked, it's not scheduled. It's probably best if we go to the beach because we have generators there and we can just get to work. So Dominica likes having the house to herself. She kept the dogs and hung out because she doesn't need to work. She's able to just hang out on her phone, and she's got books to read and likes the quiet because she doesn't get it very often. Honestly, I really like the quiet. I never get it. So I totally appreciate the desire to have total silence and no one around for several hours. It's surprisingly nice when you're around people as much as we are. So I grabbed the kids, but not the dogs, and we went out to the beach with Laborio, our driver, and really just kind of hunkered down on the beach for the day. We took it pretty easy. I had lots of work I needed to do, and when I'm at the beach, there's a lot of work that I can do that I can't do when I'm at the house, so I really look forward to being at the beach to get caught up on that work. So we ran out there and I just got to work all day and just pretty much never did anything but sit at the desk and work like crazy. We were able to turn on the air conditioning though, even with the generators running. Never had a problem, they never kicked off. I have my Mac there and my big setup with all the monitors, and was very productive. I did not get to do any filming. I didn't even bring the GoPro with me today because I didn't want to be distracted and feel like I needed to walk around. And I like getting the filming here in León. I've done so little of it so far that it's nice to have this variety of footage, which eventually is going to get old, just like all of the Las Penitas footage, but it's still pretty fresh right now, and I'm enjoying getting it, and I think you guys are enjoying watching it. And I'm getting ready to shake that up even more in the future. I'm gonna move out of the sun a little bit here. I have some plans of more places I wanna film. I've been exploring the city to find new and better filming locations that make sense for the show, so I'm hoping to broaden that quite a bit. And we will obviously be back in Las Penitas really soon. We have a lot of stuff going on with the new bar. Today I got to check that out. Did not have a chance to film it for you, wish I did. But the new tiles are in on some of the floor. I've got a guest here. Hola! And he doesn't seem thrilled to be on the show, but he chose to be on the show, so I don't have a good answer for him. Some of the new tile is down. There's new concrete in the kitchen. I really wish I had gotten some shots of the kitchen. All kinds of work going on in the kitchen at the hotel. That stuff is great. One of the refrigerators, the big Tonia fridge, is moved over to the new bar because we had one in the back. Now it's over there, which is awesome. It's making it look like a new place. We have lots of new plants have come in. Not a ton of like construction work has happened yet, but we're getting ready to have the Rancho guys come out. That's the wood roof thing that's everywhere here. We're going to be rebuilding the one that's there and adding a new one in front. It's going to be really big. I'm very excited to see that happen. Once the tile and the concrete, the fencing and the gardening stuff get done, the thing that I'm always most excited about is the lighting and potentially fountains. I really want to have beautiful garden lighting everywhere, you know, just illuminating stuff, especially at night. And so much, the bar does get used at night, and our plan is to use it at night a lot more than the current space. So lighting is a really big deal anywhere, but especially there. I really want to make it an amazing, inviting space where you want to linger and hang out and enjoy the ambiance of the location. I want it to be a place that I want to hang out, of course, so that's really what I'm looking to offer. Got to see that today. Very happy with the progress. There were a lot of people. The hotel was busy all day, and every time we have been there or talked to Yvonne, the story is that the hotel is staying pretty busy these days, which is amazing. We are seeing tons of extranjeros, tons of foreigners coming in, tourists, of course, who are coming in and using the hotel on a regular basis. And the word we've gotten from Managua is that they're seeing a 300% increase in the last 2 weeks of traffic coming in at the airport. So people are coming in numbers we haven't seen in years. So that's a really big deal. That is awesome. It's good for us as a business. It's great for the country. We're in a perfect spot to be taking advantage of this return to tourism happening worldwide and here in Nicaragua. So that's just fantastic. I spent really the whole day. I got to eat at the hotel, which I love getting to eat at the hotel because we go these now long periods of time without being there. And it's like, oh, we've spent a year eating all of our meals there. Now I miss that food when I'm not there. I miss the breakfast. I miss my veggie burgers, just all that stuff. And I miss being able to just order food as well, which is very nice. Aaron and Martina came by and hung out for a little while today. They came over and got a tour of the status of the new bar along with me. Yvonne took us around and showed us all the things going on. And I ended up working until about 8:30 at night when we had Laborio come and pick us back up again. Luciana wasn't feeling great today. She slept a large portion of the day, just napped. Both girls never even went to their room. They just came to the office with me and spent the whole day with me. Liesl was awake all day. Luciana's probably slept for half of it. We got some new video games recently and they spent some time playing them today. Cat Quest 2 is one of them. The Legend of Kitaria or something like that. It's a farming co-op cat game from the same makers as Cat Quest. I think that's all right. And they played that a little bit today. So they were just experimenting with different games during part of the day, but they weren't too into video games today. But that was kind of fun. So it was about 9 o'clock. Actually, I think it was after 9 when we finally got back to the house. Hung out for just a little bit and it was time for bed. We were all feeling very tired. The heat of the day, running around to the beach and stuff, it just makes us a little bit more tired. The dogs, of course, get me up early in the morning, so staying up really late doesn't often make sense. And tomorrow's Friday, so we'll probably be going out at night anyway, so getting some good rest today is not a bad thing. But tomorrow, we're really hopeful that the power is going to stay on. Paul left this morning, I forgot to mention on the show, Paul left this morning to head to Costa Rica. So the day started very early with him leaving at about 5 o'clock in the morning, I think. He caught the Nica bus and hit the road and had to go to Costa Rica. So he first had to go to Managua, which is only in for a minute. The bus just zips through. But the nice thing about the Nica bus is it originates in León and goes to Liberia and then on to other places. But that means we don't have to do a bunch of travel to get to the bus. That's a big deal. And there are a few buses in the area that originate here or at least have a station here, and that potentially makes a lot of travel to different places very comfortable. We know there's a minibus that goes to San Jose. Now we know there's a large bus that goes to Liberia. It's very cheap and very easy. So he did that. He did have several hours at the border. We think he fell asleep and slept through Liberia and had to get a taxi back from some who knows where when he figured out he had gone way past the city he was supposed to go to. But tomorrow he will be flying to the US on Southwest out of Liberia directly to Houston Hobby, which is right where Dominica's family is. So he's flying in right down the street, like super easy to deal with. You can't make it much easier than flying into Hobby. So that is, he's going to be gone for several weeks. I am excited that I have a bunch of camera stuff waiting in Houston for him to bring back. Most of it's really tiny stuff, like I had to replace the battery that exploded. I had to replace a lens cap that got broken when it was dropped. I got one new lens ready. That's the 9mm body cap lens for the Olympus, which I really want to use for street photography. That's a $69 lens, like we're not talking, that's the cheap one. And I didn't go for any more lenses or any bigger stuff because it's a lot for him to be bringing back and I don't want to make it a big thing. But there were some small things that I really needed, and those are coming back. Always, I can never get through an episode without a loud vehicle, but I am excited that I made it through this episode without a single person asking me for money or chasing me through the streets. Now, I realize that makes the show a lot less exciting, but for me, it's actually more enjoyable to film without having to be chased and running away from people. Although Valentina found it very entertaining because she has to watch all these episodes before you do to make the thumbnails and approve them for publication, and she thought that that episode was pretty funny. So I'm glad that she can appreciate the hilarity of the situation, and it does add a lot of color, I think, to the show. And I do need to add, this kind of stuff does not happen often. When we lived in Granada a number of years ago, in 2015, the number of people who were begging and would follow you and harass you was high, and it was one of the reasons we didn't like Granada. Here in León, or in just about any part of the country, that stuff really doesn't happen. I happened to spend a bit of time filming in a park that is kind of a gathering place for the homeless, and there's a lot of drunks that hang out there. So I'm kind of asking for problems by going to that specific location when I film, and it's just a risk that I'm willing to take. Nobody's violent, nobody's scary. It's just sometimes you have a drunk that follows you around or bugs you and gets into your show and won't let you film without them being involved. Not a big deal, and it's just stuff you learn to live with, and I really bring it on myself by choosing where I go. By choosing to come here to Galicia, that never happens. No other park have I been in does it happen. This is actually, there's nobody here. As I've been filming, there have been a number of people here, but they come and go and often just pass through. And right now, there's just nobody. So there's just so many places that I can go in the city that are quiet, and that stuff doesn't happen. In general, there are very, very few homeless in Nicaragua, which is really surprising considering the economic situation here. It actually does really, really well. I have no idea why. I'm not making commentary as to some policy or system that's in place, because I don't know what it is, but something is keeping people off of the streets in numbers where if this was a city in the United States, you would have more homeless, even though there's a lot more money involved in the system. Obviously, housing is much cheaper here. There's a lot more familial housing options in the country. That's just kind of how things work. Maybe that's all that there is to it, but the unemployment here is very high. So the opportunity to end up homeless must be a real risk that needs to be dealt with at some society or governmental level. And I don't know what mechanisms are at play making it as good as it is. I'm not saying it's perfect. Certainly, I saw 3 homeless people while filming yesterday, well, 2 days ago. But it's relatively rare, and I can go months at a time without seeing a single person who's obviously homeless. Now that we're here living in the city of León, we do know where a few tend to sleep. Completely harmless, never even ask us for money, just sleeping on the sidewalk. And sometimes, and this is confusing, there's a lot of times that people sleep kind of on the sidewalk, but that's because the sidewalks are actually kind of part of the front porch, and it's hot out, and sometimes you just want to lay down and relax, and it's not homeless people, it's people who are just taking a nap, and that's what was convenient, because they were like making a delivery and had to wait for something. So you lay down and you take a nap, and getting used to that is just something you have to do. Anyway, that is it for Thursday. The power did come back on, actually not that late, but once we were out at the beach, I wanted to get work done, so we hung out and spent the day doing that there. I will see all of you tomorrow after. I'm not leaving until you like this, wherever that is, and then go subscribe, because I know a lot of you haven't subscribed yet, and you need to deal with that, because that's how we keep the show going, folks. You got to subscribe. Watch this every morning with your coffee, 8 a.m. Central Time. That's when it comes out. Go subscribe and just make it part of your routine. The show's not that long. You can do it. Have your coffee, get some breakfast, watch the show. That's 9 o'clock for you Eastern people, but as early as 6 a.m. if you need to, before you head off to the office out on the West Coast. I'll see y'all tomorrow.